Abdul Nengi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, let me join you in welcoming Dr. Ude to this hallowed chamber. Yesterday, the minority whip was busy going about lobbying and telling us about his very good character. And today, from his CV, and especially what he said during his days as a NYC member in Adamawa, gladdens my heart because he said he was in Tongo, a local government I know, and Binos, and the legal business that he set up gladdens my heart that this is a person that is truly a Nigerian. My question is, Dr. Ude, the main issue in Nigeria today is the issue between Nigeria and the United States of America. That is the main current issue. Because of your versatility, if I ask you, what in your opinion is the way forward? Thank you.
Into commenting on Trump, on President Trump. Before you delve into commenting on President Trump, according to the question by Senator Nengi, because you are, of course, there's no question that you cannot answer. Senator Ojusakalo, add your question after that, Senator Alero. There's no question he cannot answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Answer the very valuable question of Attorney General of the Federation and Attorney General of the Federal Government of Nigeria. Because the same glamour also goes to the office of Accountant General of the Federation and Accountant General for the Federal Government of Nigeria. People believe that the two should be separated. So that's I think those are very germane questions. The only one I would like you to dodge for now is commenting on Trump. Go on.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate. Thank you, distinguished Senator Alero, for drawing my attention to the asset declaration requirement. In the course of my public service, I've always declared my assets in line with the Constitution, and I've also undertaken that for this current national assignment. So thank you, sir. So on the issue of separation of offices, there are even arguments like the current constitutional review, ongoing constitutional review, and when the senators and House of Rep members visited Enugu, and the memo they presented about the areas that they are seeking constitutional review on, one of the areas was actually the separation of the office of the Attorney General from the office of the Minister of Justice, and the separation of the office of the Attorney General of State from the office of a Commissioner for Justice. Now, there are various arguments regarding for pro and for, or against and for. And all the arguments are certainly very reasonable. So some arguments for the separation will say that the Attorney General, being the chief law officer of the state, handles prosecution. If you look at the Constitution, discover that the major responsibility, constitutional responsibility of an Attorney General is prosecutorial powers. And so some members of the public have the concern that if the office of the Attorney General remains political, that there will be influence on the Attorney General in the prosecution of cases. Therefore, that it should be separated from the political arm of that office, which is the Minister for Justice and Commissioner of Justice. So, but I'll always say that it's better people experience the reality of the office to be better grounded in their argument and reasoning. I've been Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General for over 2 years. Incidentally, my dad served as Solicitor General of the state for several years before he went to the bench. So I know the workings of this office very well. Whether it is separated or fused, it depends on the personality of the individuals there. Of course, even if it's an Attorney General that is not political, even if it's within the civil service, and the person does not have character, there will still be influence. Will the person not be appointed by an individual? And it will still, the person that appoints will still have influence. So there's no institution of humanity that will not be subject to human flaws and frailties. So whether we choose to have them as one or separate them, they will still be subject to what every human being is subject to, the weaknesses of humans and the background and the personalities of the occupiers of the office. But one thing I can say is that I've served in the office of the Attorney General Commissioner for Justice with integrity, with the fear of God, creditably, and performing, knowing that justice is a matter that is divine. In handling it, one must fear God, and one must remember that if justice is miscarried, it can affect, deeper than the particular case that is before that particular office. So, Mr. President of the Senate, Senator Abdul Denge had made a comment about the relationship of Nigeria and the United States. His Excellency, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is already responding very well to that issue, appointing of ambassadors and pushing for them to be mobilized immediately, because truly it's more of a matter of diplomacy than law. Finally, distinguished Senator Asokwo. Yes, Mr. President of the Senate, sir, we have the privilege of having a leader of the National Assembly, chairman of the National Assembly, that is also a lawyer. He understands that law is quite very broad, very, very broad. So if you're a good lawyer, you should be able to fit in to any job description and do well, because there's law of every walk of life. But beyond that, beyond my strong background in law, I have very strong background in research and academics, very strong background in governance, many years of governance experience. As a public servant, I've held various offices, but beyond that, as a development expert, having worked with various international organizations and supporting government of the state, there's no state of the federation that I've not worked for, none. And worked in, either as a consultant for UNICEF, for UNDP, for DFID, and various other international organizations, spanning different walks of life. So it's not just been law practice and litigation. No, I've, by the grace of God, my experience, my career and professional stint have spanned across various facets of life. And this is what I would leverage to bring value to the renewed hope of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if the Senate approves that I serve in that capacity. Thank you, sir.
Senator Abaribe,